UTC wins the toss. Alabama wants the football to get this one underway, and that is exactly what they do. And the Crimson Tide will have it at the 22-yard line. Dave Neal, this is former Georgia All-American Matt Stinchcomb. Glad you could join us tonight on what has been probably the coolest night of football here in the South. And certainly this Alabama team has been playing like a #1 ranked team. And a lot of people around here think this possibly could be Nick Saban's best football team. 4 national championships since he's took over this program. And where do you put this football team? I know there's some ball left to be played, but certainly one of the best.
Look, the statistics support it. I think it's probably the finest football team he's had, given where the college football landscape is right now. They've evolved both on offense and defense, and it's been demonstrated throughout this season. Unblemished record so far.
Jalen Hurts' first pass is caught, and Alabama will have it out over the 45-yard line, a 23-yard pickup, and that one is caught by Calvin Ridley. Jalen Hurts has had one of those seasons that if you're just a true freshman playing high school ball a year ago, you probably don't even imagine it's going to happen, but it has for Jalen. He turns the corner here and has a lot of running room. He is down the sideline, and he will step out of bounds around the 35. That'll be a first down for the Crimson Tide and give him 19 more yards.
One of those things that you wouldn't necessarily think would end up being a point of strength. The quarterback position for Alabama this season, knowing that it would likely be manned by a true freshman. But he's been a difference maker. Obviously, already here early, a big throw downfield, and then showing his mobility on a big run, only 2 plays into this contest.
So from the 35, Alabama with a first down and 10. Interesting that we didn't expect to see Jalen run the football today. They wanted to see him kind of stand in the pocket a little bit more and throw the ball down the field. But on the second play, turns the corner and looks like he's trying to run out of trouble here. This UTC defense, you know, we talk about Alabama's defense being among the best, if not the best, in the FBS. Well, this mock defense, you could say the same for them on the FCS level.
In many ways, kind of reminiscent of Alabama for their level of football. Very active. They've got a difference maker at defensive end in Keontae Davis, and number 93, a guy that can get after a passer and disrupt the rushing attack as well.
A loss of 3 on that play. Alabama coming near side with it. Pass is caught by Garrett Dieter, and he is stopped shy of the 40-yard line. That'll lose a couple of more yards. But this UTC defense giving up less than 17 points a game. That is second best number in the FCS. They're in the top 25 in just about every category. They're second in passing yards allowed. They are 5th in total yards allowed. They just get after it. There's nothing fancy about their defense when you talk to other coaches. They just kind of keep things in front of them and let their playmakers go make plays.
Yeah, they don't like to pressure, don't want to bring a whole lot of blitzes. They like to keep things in front of them, but they play very solid, assignment sound football and allow their playmakers make the difference when they're on the field defensively.
Third down situation for the Tide. Hurts going to the wide side of the field, a long throw, and that one is batted away at the last moment. He was looking for Ridley. It was knocked down by Wright on the far side.
We've already seen one target and completion to Calvin Ridley earlier in this contest. You see Trevor Wright coming in there late, and that's just a drop by Ridley as he turned to try to make that reception. And after just coming out of the gate smoking for Alabama offensively, you get the big hit down to Calvin Ridley to open the game. A nice run by Hurts. The sideline making maybe one of the biggest plays early in this game to stop the Crimson Tide offensive possession to result in this punt.
J.K. Scott averaging 48 yards a punt. This one's end over end, trying to bury it inside the 10, but it'll take a forward bounce into the end zone. So UTC will send out their offense. And the first time we will see Alejandro Benefiel will run the show for the Mocs out of Lovejoy, Georgia. He has had to take over for Jacob Huseman, a 3-year starter, and a kind of a different offense now for the Mocs. They ran a little bit of an option game, but now they've gone more to a balanced attack.
Yeah, they got a bit of a departure, obviously, because of the skill set at the quarterback position. They've been pleased with what they've gotten out of Alejandro Benefiel so far this season, though. They still want to be able to try to establish the run on the perimeter. There are no yards to be had between the tackles versus this Crimson Tide defense.
So the junior lines up in the shotgun. Derek Crane, your running back, they'll fake it to him. The left-hander will sling it. Pass is caught out around the 33, and that one goes to C.J. Board. And time for us to get our first update. Let's go to the studio and Chris Cotter. Hey, Chris. Oh my goodness. If the heat wasn't on.
Wow, we're not kidding.
It is now.
Yeah, I think that already we've seen in the season the Tom Herman sweepstakes ratcheting up. A big victory over Louisville earlier this week.
The ball is correctly spotted. It's 1st and 10.
So the Mocs pick up the first down after the pitch and catch. Ball's at the 34-yard line. They'll go handoff, and Derek Crane is mashed. A loss of 4, Jonathan Allen.
Well, if you can't create space blocking, you might as well line up that way. And that's what right now UTC is doing. And so they're lining up with these huge splits, as you can see there, but you still have to somehow get a hat on the inside. Jonathan Allen does a great job of getting underneath the block and getting the tackle for loss.
Loss of 4. They'll fake it to Crane, throw down the middle. That pass is caught. C.J. Board. He's into Alabama territory. Inside the 40 at the 39, a 21-yard gain. Ronnie Harrison brings him down.
C.J. Board, coming into this game, had caught a pass in 27 straight games for the Mocs. See, once again, he does a great job. He's gotten loose twice now in the Alabama secondary, one that's kind of had to been retooled. Minka Fitzpatrick moving from his usual star position to the safety spot. Push Anthony Everett and Marlon Humphrey at the corner positions.
Switch at quarterback. Tyler Robertson will come in and take this snap. He's more of the option quarterback and gives him the option look, but he'll hand it off inside to Crane, and Crane will fall forward for a couple of yards. Reuben Foster, the first man there for Alabama.
It's going to be difficult to find any running room on the inside here tonight. Derek Crane, he's a plugger. He's a high motor guy that can run through tackles. They like to feed him. The difficulty will be, will he get swallowed up by this Alabama defensive front? If he gets past the line of scrimmage, the Crimson Tide defense is patrolled well at the linebacker position with Reuben Foster, Sean Dion Hamilton, and Ryan Anderson.
Benefield back in the game at quarterback. They'll move the pocket to the right, and that'll be incomplete. This UTC offense averages 36 points a game. They rush it for 214 a game, and they throw it for 211.
Well, the position they don't want to find themselves in is a 3rd and long versus the best pressure football team in the country. And Alabama doesn't have to bring blitzes because they can win up front. You get in a 3rd and long situation versus a unit that's generated 40 sacks already this year. That's a dangerous proposition for your passer.
Quick release. What a grab. C.J. Board reaches out, snags it, picks up 8. Let's see if it's good enough for the first down.
Great ball location by Benefield. The Board does a good job getting across Everett's face. Great hands catch as well to make that completion very close for the yardage needed to convert that first down.
So they'll bring the chains in, and C.J. Board continues to move up the all-time receptions list at Tennessee Chattanooga. He needed 10 to pass legendary Terrell Owens for 6th place on the UTC all-time list. And that one is going to be good enough by an inch for the first down.
The Mocs driving the football early. You look at Alabama, they come out here. It's a big stadium, of course. You're playing up. The offense for the Crimson Tide rips off 2 big plays. Your defense comes up with a big stop. And now the UTC offense is showing that they don't feel like this stage is too big for them at all. C.J. Board early in this one asserting himself at the receiver position.
They'll go handoff again with Crane. No gain on that play. Jonathan Allen reaches in there to make the play for the Crimson Tide. Allen came in with 40 tackles on the year, 7 sacks. A couple of fumble recoveries.
He's so fun to watch from a technical standpoint. He plays so well with his hands. Almost always has the ability to bench press the offensive lineman up and off of him, get extension, and sheds block as well as just about any defensive lineman I've seen.
They'll swing it out. Pass is caught. And Bagley will take it to the 25-yard line, give him 4 on the play.
So far, Jeff Durden, the offensive coordinator for the Mocs, he's tested the center portion of this Alabama defensive front a couple of different times. Keep them honest, let them see it. But you can tell intent on getting the football out to the perimeter, an easy swing pass. Good job by C.J. Board already in this game, getting open, coming up with contested catches.
8 plays already on this opening drive by UTC. Moving the pocket near side. Flags are down the line of scrimmage. Pass is caught down around the 15-yard line. Alfonso Stewart with the grab.
Illegal formation. 5 players in the backfield on the offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay 3rd down.
They had a big shift right before the snap. And a receiver group started on the right side of the formation, ended up over there on the left. Coach Durden mentioned he's going to use a couple different bunch-type formations, cluster up his receivers, and make it difficult for Alabama to either exchange in man coverage. That's part of the reason why Stewart was able to get loose.
Russ Huseman, what a job he has done since taking over this program, now in his 8th year. 3-time Southern Conference champion. This year going to finish tied for 2nd, but heading back probably to the FCS playoffs. Here's Benefield looking toward the end zone and overthrows everybody. It is now 4th down.
But an impressive opening drive by UTC. You know, undone by the illegal formation penalty. Able to overcome some 3rd downs, and then were it not for that penalty, the offense finding ways to pick up those yards and work its way down the football field to set up a field goal attempt.
Enrico Ribeiro, 7 of 9 this year. This from 48. Career long 52 on the way, and it is good. And UTC is on the board first here at Bryant-Denny Stadium.
You are watching the SEC Network's coverage of college football. Due to time constraints, we move ahead in the action.
I'd like to welcome those of you that just saw Kansas knock off Texas in overtime. Dave Neal alongside Matt Stinchcomb, Olivia Harlan down on the sidelines, and your eyes are not deceiving you. UTC, the Mocs out of the FCS with an early lead over #1 ranked Alabama, 3-0 with just over 6 minutes to go here at Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. 2 possessions for the Crimson Tide, and they will face 2 punts. J.K. Scott will punt it away for Alabama. C.J. Board back to return for the Mocs. Good high kick. Fair catch called for at the 19-yard line, and that is where Board will take it. 46-yard punt. Time for us to take a look at our Chick-fil-A impact players. Snitch.
Well, you know, in this ball game, they're going to need some big performances from a couple of different guys. Defensively, Alabama, Ryan Anderson, a guy often overshadowed by the play of some of his defensive mates, Reuben Foster, John Allen. But Anderson, excellent linebacker. They can line up on the line of scrimmage with his hands in the dirt. We've already mentioned Derek Crane, running back for UTC. I think more than anything, he's going to be the curveball, the changeup. They're not going to get a ton of yards out of him, but he is typically the drumbeat of their offense.
Alejandro Benefiel will throw it to the wide side. Bagley will pick up 3. UTC's first drive, 10 plays, 50 yards, results in a 47-yard field goal.
As impressive as that opening drive is, right now UTC's defense will come in there, you get a big stop after Alabama drives the football down quickly. They force a punt and then a 3-and-out versus the Alabama offense after getting good pressure on Jalen Hurts and giving the Mocs offense another crack.
2nd down and 7. The junior quarterback out of Lovejoy, Georgia. Hands it off to Bagley. He's got some running room. 1st down to the 35-yard line. He picks up 13 yards. Bagley on the year, 508 yards, 5 touchdowns on the ground.
Nice block by center Jacob Revis, number 52, climbing right up on Reuben Foster, covering him up and opening up that space for Bagley. See right now UTC is typically a hurry up, no huddle offense, something that Alabama has become, but you can see them, they're huddling for each play, slowing down, more methodical offensive approach for this contest here tonight versus Alabama.
Swing it again to the wide side, and no gain on the play for Bagley. Minka Fitzpatrick comes up to make the initial hit. And an injured Alabama player on the far side of the field as you look at Russ Huseman's success here. They have reached the FCS playoffs each of the last 2 seasons, probably going to make it 3 in a row. We'll find out tomorrow. Ranked 11th in the FCS coaches poll. And certainly they are a team to keep an eye on. We'll step aside, come back to Bryant-Denny Stadium right after this.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by the Citi Double Cash Card and Dr. Pepper. It's a college football tradition.
Crimson Tide back in the nighttime window after an early kick last week. A little sluggish out of the gates. Thought maybe that would have happened last week, but tonight trailing 3-0 to UTC here as the clock is running. Reuben Foster was the injured Alabama player. 2nd down, and we'll call it 11. We'll delay handoff. That goes to Crane. He picks up 7. Let's go back to that Reuben Foster injury.
See Reuben Foster, he'll be coming in. He'll end up getting blocked. And it looks to me like perhaps the initial contact right there, raking across his hand, or as he goes down, his own face mask bouncing off of that left hand. Already had an injured finger. See him, it was immediate. Rolled over. You could tell that it was causing him pain. And he has been practicing with a club to protect that finger during the week in practice. Obviously a key cog to this defense. And they talk about, they've got some great players, but they lack depth. They've got some interchangeable pieces at that linebacker position, but they don't want to lose anybody, especially a playmaker like number 10.
Reuben Foster heading to the locker room. We'll head to a commercial break. Back in a moment.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. And Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
The Para Commandos perform precision free-fall parachute demonstrations across the United States. The team normally jumps from an altitude of about 12,500 feet above the ground, free-falling approximately 2 miles. They reach speeds in excess of 120 miles per hour. That's right, 120.
Wow. Yeah, that's a speedometer on that guy. His GoPro's lenses will crack.
Based out of Tampa, Florida. Glad to have those guys here tonight. Benefield try a little quarterback draw on 3rd down. He'll get maybe a half a yard before Jonathan Allen and Dalvin Tomlinson.
Jonathan Allen a little gimpy. Talk about the difference makers on this defense. Reuben Foster's already inside. Jonathan Allen's got 3 tackles early in this game, and he gets up a little bit lame. Watch 93. He falls in and makes his tackle. It looks like he's holding his left knee, maybe. They're late. He got up like he was fine.
Chattanooga will have to punt it away on 4th down. Wobbly kick that will hit. Dangerously close to hitting a Crimson Tide player, but it'll be down to around the 25, a 34-yard punt. So we'll step aside again. Just under 2 minutes to go, opening quarter. 3-0 UTC. Alabama trailing UTC 3-0 late in the first quarter here at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Dave Neal, Matt Stinchcomb, and Olivia Harlan. Glad you could join us as we take a look at tonight's impact players, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Alabama offense has been rocking and rolling most of this season. One of their key players coming into the year was going to be Cam Robinson. He's had an up and down year at his left tackle position. He's got all the tools, and when he wants to play, can be dominating. Keontae Davis, the defensive end for UTC, number 93, he projects to the next level. It could be an interesting matchup here tonight to watch.
3rd possession for the Crimson Tide. Hurts lost the football. Does Chattanooga have it? Waiting for a signal. They're jumping around like they have it.
Looked like Dale Warren came in there. Number 20, the linebacker for University of Tennessee Chattanooga. Jalen Hurts. That football a little bit loosely in traffic.
Boy, O.J. Howard must have won the battle at the bottom of that pile.
That's exactly what happened. See Hurts carrying it on his inside hand, and watch Warren come shooting in there. Put his helmet right on the football. And it looked like Davis should have come up with that. You see Davis and O.J. Howard. O.J. Howard must have wrestled it away from number 93. That's a lucky break. To get that football back would have been excellent field position for the Mocs.
Instead, a 6-yard pickup, and it's 2nd down and 4. They will hand it off to Damian Harris. And a flag comes in.
It's the first handoff of the game, as you see at the end of this play. 94 Taylor Reynolds is going to get flagged probably for a face mask.
There is no foul for face mask. 3rd down.
Saw the flag come out. You saw Damian Harris kind of spin around. That's a good no call. You see Reynolds, he's got his hand on the jersey right below his face mask. Like his arm might have jostled that face mask a little bit, but no grasp or grasping of any of the helmet openings. Good job by the officials waving off that flag.
So now it's 3rd down and 2. Hurts around the left side. He'll have the first down at the 37.5-yard line. Give him 5 yards. Go back to that last fumble a few plays back.
See the ball bouncing around right there. See Keontae Davis, number 93, on it.
Calvin Ridley makes the play there. Clock moving into the first quarter coming up. Alabama may try to get one more in here, and they will. Here goes Harris, cuts it back. He's close to midfield, and that'll be it. So we played 15 minutes, and how about this? The #1 team in the country. 22-game winning streak on the line. And the Mocs from Chattanooga up a field goal, second quarter on the way. UTC up 3-0 over Alabama. Dave Neal, Matt Stinchcomb, and down on the field is Olivia Harlan. Let's visit with her right now.
Dave, good news for the Tide for Reuben Foster to come back out running, helmet on, hands freshly taped up. But yesterday, Coach Saban told us they can't afford another injury at 3 key spots in the secondary, on the offensive line, especially either tackle or at running back. Last week, down to just 2 of their top 4 backs. Tonight, Bo Scarborough is available. He missed last week with a right knee injury. His role was increasing. I watched him warm up in a knee brace. Appeared to move well. They'll evaluate if he gets in tonight.
Thanks, Olivia. Jalen Hurts, a little quarterback draw, picks up 3. And yeah, you know, this is one thing we got from all the coaches we talked to yesterday in our meetings was like, you know, this is a very talented team. There's no question about it. But this is a team that's certainly doesn't possess the depth that we've had in the past.
Yeah, that's something that they've typically been able to do. Roll players in there like rows of shark teeth, one row after the next coming in. Not the case this season.
Hurts looking for it all. Tight spiral, Ridley open, touchdown Alabama. 47 yards. The 7th touchdown reception of the year for one Calvin Ridley. And that was a pretty ball from Jalen Hurts. His 16th touchdown pass of the season. Adam Griffith with the point after, and he will split the uprights. Alabama out front 7-3.
Nothing sexy about this one. Here's Ridley right here. He's just going to work right up the football field. And he'll be open for about 20 yards, and it's just whether or not Jalen Hurts feels like his arm's warm enough to get it all the way down the field. It really was just a matter of time. This is something that they've wanted to get going. See Ridley, who's more than capable of getting behind secondaries. This time blowing right past safety Cedric Nettles, who was working towards the middle of the field. Good job. Hurts putting it right on his receiver in Ridley. Leading receiver last season, had 89 receptions. It's been a little bit quieter this year. In the passing attack, they've been wanting to get their perimeter players going, and meeting with Nick Saban yesterday. As much as he likes what he's gotten from his quarterback, he wanted a little bit more. Take the governor off of him and get the ball to their playmakers on the perimeter. Otherwise, they've got talent kind of sitting fallow out there. Wanted to get the touches more to the Calvin Ridleys, our Darius Stewarts of this world.
Hurts now 6 of 7, 80 yards through the air. Griffith. Or Shady with the return, trying to get to the outside, and he'll be pushed out of bounds. Time to get another update. Let's head to Chris Cotter.
All right, Dave, Matt, it's a Taco Bell studio update. Final play of regulation. San Diego State down 7 in Wyoming. Christian Chapman. It's tipped around, and it's complete. Quest Truxton, one of the great names in college football, making the catch. So they go for 2, and the win can't get it. Cowboys keep their Mountain West hopes alive in dramatic fashion.
Boy, we have seen some drama today.
Haven't we, though? Late night action.
How about the drama in Baton Rouge this afternoon?
That was unbelievable. That was unbelievable. For that game to come down to a goal line play in that fashion, and for a Florida team that has been riddled with injury, especially on the defensive side of the football, to come up with a win. Underdogs on the road, a home game that you're playing in Baton Rouge. They came up with a big victory.
Tyler Robertson in at quarterback. Now for UTC. As the Mocs trail 7-3. And that play did not work. Robertson loses 4 yards, and Reuben Foster, who's back on the field, and club or no club making a play.
That's right. You see that left hand. He's playing with a Q-tip. So I don't know if he'll get any interceptions, but he's still going to be making some tackles. So number 10 for Alabama, always around the football, does a great job of reading what an offense is trying to do, oftentimes getting there before the offense does.
2nd down and 13. Here's Crane. He's got nowhere to go, and Alabama's speed just too much. As Minka Fitzpatrick chases him down sidelines.
They're going to have a hard time getting yardage out of these throws to the flats. Minka Fitzpatrick is just going to run downhill, especially to the short side of the football field. They tried it on a number of occasions. The Mocs obviously working to try to get the ball on the perimeter quickly, almost like a long handoff. Fitzpatrick coming down, crashing quickly to the flats, not allowing any yardage on those quick throws.
The 3rd down and 13 now for UTC. Out of the 25 to 27. Gain of 9. Or Shoddy would be a little bit shy of the 1st down, and here comes the Mocs punt team. Alabama forcing yet another 3-and-out, something they lead the country in.
So difficult to pick up those yardage after the catch. It's if you make the catch versus this defense. An excellent defense, does a great job of tackling in space, but their speed alone eats up all the space you generate by kicking and throwing it to the edges.
Those rugby kicks that are hard to return. Only a 30-yard punt. Alabama will have decent field position when we come back, tied up 7-3. Offensive coordinator Lane Kiffin talking to his offense, led by true freshman Jalen Hurts, who's trying to lead this team to the promised land. So far, he's off to a good start tonight. He has hit 6 of 7 for 80 yards, and he's trying to join some first-year starting quarterbacks under Nick Saban that have had some some success. Look at what these guys have been able to do, starting with Greg McElroy. I'd say that's pretty successful.
That's unbelievable when you think about it, to be able to just plug and play with guys that haven't seen action before for you at quarterback, and then of course doing it with a true freshman is taking it next level. You got to credit, you know, the players around Jalen Hurts, but also offensive coordinator Lane Kiffin, his ability to accommodate a true freshman.
Hurts going deep again. This pass a little bit short of its intended target. Diggs was the true freshman, the man out in the pattern, but a little bit short on the pass was Jalen Hurts.
Inside with that football as well. A little bit dangerous with that ball placement. Put your head around. That's a turnover going the other way, and Lucas Webb in coverage. If he locates that ball in the air, it's a headache for your offense and a huge turnover generated by the defense. As it is, Alabama gets another crack at it.
We might see a little bit more number 7 here tonight. Trayvon Diggs, somebody Coach Gibbons was talking to us yesterday about an eye on his future. Here is Hurts trying to get a block on the outside. He'll get it close to midfield. Picks up 7. Montreal Pardue with his 3rd stop.
Hurts does such a good job as a runner. And early on in the season, they said to keep it more often than you would otherwise if there was a pass tag on the other end of these runs.
Boy, that was a broken play. As we see for the first time tonight, the true freshman Josh Jacobs in the backfield. And he and Hurts are not on the same page.
A couple of true freshmen, and you can see there, Hurts reverses out. And Jacobs, well, that he was even expecting, either he didn't expect Hurts to reverse out the way that he did from under center. Either way, the ball handling in the backfield, you see offensive coordinator Lane Kiffin over there getting with Jacobs a little bit. Looks like the running back He's probably on the wrong track on that handoff.
J.K. Scott again to punt it. Boy, that is a power kick that is dropped, and Alabama will have it. They will have it inside the 10-yard line.
C.J. Board, who was back there to try to field this punt. And he's off balance. It looked like it drifted on him just a little bit right towards the end.
Oh, his own guy
That's
bumped
exactly
into
right.
him, and Keaton Anderson fell on him.
That's exactly right. C.J. Board, he's trying to make the adjustment as that ball drifted to his right just a little bit. Instead, it looked like Alex Trotter was the one that kept him from sliding over there to field it.
Damian Harris in the game now at running back to the right of Hurts. First and goal for Alabama. Hurts trying to run for it. Flipped up in the air. He'll be denied at the 1.
Big hit by Cedric Nettles, who got burned on the pass play to Calvin Ridley, but cartwheels Jalen Hurts right there shy of the goal line.
Hurts coming left side, hit hard again and again, and he is stopped shy. Boy, Chattanooga is flying to the football.
You see Taylor Reynolds working from his tackle position. 94 is the first guy there. And I think that this is the right call to spot it shy of the goal line. The ball was in his left hand. Taylor Reynolds in, and Trell McMillan able to converge on that tackle to meet Jalen Hurts before he was able to get into the end zone. Great play by the Mocs defensive front.
All the big boys in now for Alabama. And they'll go handoff right up the middle, and Harris is denied. It is going to be 4th and goal. Keontae Davis, the first one there. My goodness.
How about this Mocs defensive front? Coming into this game knowing they were going to have their hands full. Watch Keontae Davis right here, as well as Dale Warren. I mentioned their names twice. Keontae Davis getting underneath the block of Jonah Williams, who was lined up in that overload look from his right tackle position, lined up outside Cam Robinson on the left-hand side.
4th and goal. Hurts trying to run for it. He will throw it. Touchdown, Alabama. Garrett Dieter. Couple of pump fakes. Boy, it is so deadly when you have a guy who can run and throw.
You see, he wanted Dieter first. He pump faked, though, because you can see Trayvon Brown's right there in the area. Didn't like what he had. Dieter just kind of sunk back up underneath the coverage. Hurts able to get it in there, but the Tide making it adventurous after the great field position on the turnover.
Well, UTC gave Alabama the football inside the 10-yard line. Alabama had to fight for it, though. Hurts would finally make him pay with the touchdown pass, his 2nd of the night.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Wendy's, always fresh, never frozen beef, and Cadillac.
Looking at those guys, they are, as we get to the end of the season, it's time for all the postseason awards as we get down to the semifinal list for many of the big ones, and you see the Alabama players that are up for those awards. Jonathan Allen, Reuben Foster, Ryan Anderson, Mika Fitzpatrick, O.J. Howard, Hurts, Cam Robinson, to name a few. And a big hit on that kickoff return, 18 yards on the return. But let's head back to the studio for another update. Chris, what do you have?
All right, Dave, here's what we got. Clemson wraps up the Atlantic with a win tonight at Wake, and they're putting on a clinic. Deshaun here, great catch by Mike Williams in the end zone, 21-0 right now. Early second quarter on ESPN. And here's what's on ABC. Oklahoma and West Virginia exchanging pleasantries on the WV, just minutes away from kickoff on ABC.
Just saying hello.
Hey, man, what are you going to do for Thanksgiving, guys? You know, burn a couch, you win.
Mox at the 20 will hand it off to Crane. Tomlinson with that tackle. Picks up 5.
It's run by Crane between the tackles all night long. See what they like in him. You know, even after contact is made, keeps those legs churning. He's not a guy that's going to run away from most. They've got excellent team speed. For an FCS level team, they are supremely fast. Crane is a guy, though, that gets some of those dirty yards. A shifty guy, tough runner, does a good job after contact.
Go inside again to Crane, who bounces off, and he will have the first down to 32. Boy, he was all wrapped up. He even had a little bow on him, and all of a sudden somebody cut the bow.
Great job by Tomlinson for 54, but you see, never really got Crane down. Those are the types of yards that the Mox coaching staff were talking about. It just doesn't quit on a play. Keeps his feet active, legs churning, and is able to squirt out there and pick up a first down.
Field. Rolling left, pass is caught. That is close to the first down, but probably shy by a yard. Coven with the reception, the tight end. His 5th of the year, the junior out of Fort Valley, Georgia.
Benefield's done a good job when they move the pocket. Even when he's rolling to his left, he's done a good job this season and here tonight. They're getting him away from the potential pressure. That pocket likely to collapse either with quick throws or moving that pocket and allowing him to get outside and throw on the run. Simple reads downfield, a quick way to deliver the football.
Bagley in the game at running back. Quick hitter coming near side. James Stovall with the reception. He has 4. Well, Saturday, November 26th at noon Eastern on ABC, it's the game. Michigan and Ohio State from the Horseshoe in Columbus. The Buckeyes have won the last 4 and 11 of 12 against the Wolverines. You can catch that streaming live on the ESPN app and, of course, on Watch ESPN. Boy, Ohio State had their hands full today with Michigan State.
No one's going to talk about that point after 2-point conversion decision by Mark D'Antonio. Different story. If he hits that point after attempt, they head to overtime.
Pass is caught. Jonathan Allen was almost there to make the reception himself.
He read that all the way. He's working against true freshman Malcolm White, and he could feel the left tackle of the Mox trying to release. Great awareness by number 93. See him following number 56, takes you right to the receiver on this in the screen game. If you follow those offensive linemen and you feel them kind of letting up, they're going to take you to the play, especially when you're dumping off a screen pass. It's the 4th tackle for loss for the Crimson Tide defense tonight.
So a 3rd down and 8. Ball is incomplete, coming near side, looking for Stovall, and a 4th down situation ahead for the Mox.
Really, for the first time tonight, Jeff Durden decides to take a shot downfield. We saw earlier on a 3rd down, able to hit a quick hitter to C.J. Board that time, trying to see if he could sneak James Stovall downfield. Benefield a little bit off target, but an aggressive play call there on 3rd down.
Colin Brewer to punt. Trayvon Diggs back to return this kick. It is a line drive that will be fielded on a hop. Diggs Out of bounds at the 26-yard line. 43-yard punt. Back to Alabama in the capstone right after this.
ESPN, home of the New Year's Six and the college football playoff.
Alabama trying to stay in the top spot. Jalen Hurts trying to keep him there.
Such a big part of their offense. Hit a nice shot downfield to Calvin Ridley, something that they're looking to get better at as this season has gone on. He's carried the ball a lot, already 10 times in this game. This was off a turnover to try to get it in the end zone for the second time. It's been a choppy performance for the offense in general. You see Jalen Hurts' numbers there, very efficient. 7 of 9, those 81 yards. But he's having to contribute quite a bit versus UTC here early.
There's Harris. Spins his way out to the 40-yard line, a gain of 14. Talking to Lane Kiffin yesterday, he said to us, we don't want to have to run Jalen until we have to. Well, they've had to run him.
Yeah, and you know, they ran him the second play of the game, so you could tell that's still part of the offense, but absolutely he's having to contribute more than I think they anticipated.
There's a tackle behind the line. Damian Harris will lose 3 on the play as this UTC defensive front just getting after it. It has been a group that has at times really gotten behind this offensive line.
They've done a good job. We've seen Keontae Davis a couple of different times able to get in the offensive backfield.
They are back that time. And here is Hurts. And he is dropped for a big-time loss by Dale Warren. And again, Chattanooga with a tackle behind the line.
Watch Dale Warren. He's right here. He's going to delay a little bit. Watch him. He's going to float out. O.J. Howard coming across the formation in protection. And he just gets lost in the scheme.
That's his 3rd tackle for loss for Dale Warren by himself. It is 3rd down and 22. Hurts looking to throw. Passes, they're going to say caught at the 36-yard line, a gain of 11, but it is well shy of the line to make, which was out near the 49-yard line. Calvin Ridley with the reception.
Great hands catch by Calvin Ridley. Well short of the yardage needed, of course, after the big loss. And they got Josh Casher over there at right guard, which has been a problem position really all season. Curvin got the start last week and converted defensive lineman. Tide still trying to figure out that position on their offensive front. Moore will try to chase this one back. All the way around the 5. He breaks a tackle, but then is thrown down around the 16. That was a booming kick again by J.K. Scott, averaging almost 50 yards per punt. Nick Saban, none too happy. Alabama's been a little bit sloppy here tonight, but they lead it 14-3 over UTC. Well, Taco Bell is a proud partner of the college football playoff. Be on the lookout for Taco Bell student sections and passionate fans like these at games all season long. On a cool, crisp evening here at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Snuggle up over there in the student section tonight. Cold. A little Taco Bell and Chick-fil-A. Some nice snacks over there.
First down and 10. Box. And off to Crane. Pick up a couple of yards. Crane, 7 carries, 19 yards on the ground. Young man, 5th all-time in rushing at UTC, with closing in on 2,700 yards. The senior out of McDonough, Georgia.
Already seen him find a way to stay on his feet, squirt out there for some extra yards. It's going to be difficult, as we mentioned. Coaching staff knew that coming in here. It's not like they're going to be able to make their living on any of these inside downhill runs. So Alabama was showing perimeter pressure out here. Tony Brown, it looks like UTC is going to take a timeout and talk about it.
Second charge timeout, Chattanooga.
Chattanooga, play clock was winding down. Needed to burn that timeout. We'll step aside.
Chris Cotter in studio. Outback halftime report coming your way. Jonathan Vilma will join me. We got some epic battles in the Big Ten, setting up a showdown in Columbus next week. Highlights of those games also in the Big 12. We've got a battle going on right now over on ABC in the snow in Morgantown. Highlights there. Speaking of highlights, rapid fire highlights in No Huddle. It's all coming up. Outback halftime. See you then.
Thank you, Chris. Been a crazy day in college football. I'll tell you what, coming down the stretch of the 2016 season, we have seen some madness. That's why I love this game. Mox going to Bagley on the far side. He is be close to the 27-yard line. Give him 9.
Really nice block on the perimeter as well to spring Bagley. And just short motion him out of the backfield. Able to hit another one of those throws to the flats. It'll require blocking on the perimeter, though, for those to be effective.
Mark Curls and company looking right at that first down line. I guess the good news is you don't have to move the chains too far.
Yeah, got it. They've had a couple of measurements in this game already. The Mocs with just enough yardage to get those conversions for first.
If nothing else, this is an opportunity to at least not have to give the football back to Alabama, perhaps, here in the first half.
Pick up that another first down. Not only do you get a fresh set of downs, burn some of that clock, but also capture more field position. We've seen when the Mocs incapable of picking up the first, that rugby punt difficult to field by the Tide.
Field that quarterback. It's a snap. Hands it off to Bagley.
Another nice block that time by Derek Crane. Usually getting the handoffs. That time he was able to get upfield, throw a nice block on Reuben Foster. See, right now the Mocs doing a good job getting a hat on a hat. They're not going to get a ton of movement versus this Alabama defense. Few offenses are. But they are doing a good job getting blocks out in space, getting away from some of those big bodies, and their perimeter blocking on back-to-back plays, allowing them to pick up some nice yardage.
Here's Bagley again. Trying to use the stiff arm. That's just not going to work on Tony Brown. That'll be a loss of 2. This college football season, stream every game live on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN. Download the app or visit watchespn.com today. 45 seconds to go before halftime. UTC took the opening drive, 10 plays, 50 yards. It got a 47-yard field goal out of Enrique Rivero. That's their only points in the contest.
It's interesting talking about third downs with defensive coordinator Jeremy Pruitt. Says that you got to call third down almost like first or second. Now, interesting offensive shift. They flip the offensive line over to the left side.
Gonna field. They'll try to scramble for it. And he'll be close to the first down. Let's see where they spot it. It might be half a yard shy. Ronnie Harrison will get credit for the stop.
The Mocs ended up shifting right guard, right tackle rather, over to the left-hand side.
Timeout on the field. Back in a moment. Alabama took the timeout on a 4th down and about a yard. UTC likes to use the rugby style punts that have been hard to field. Trayvon Diggs didn't return the last one on one hop, but those line drive end over end kicks are so dangerous.
We've seen teams misjudge those kicks. They come up too far, or they allow it to bounce shy. And once that ball hits the ground, it's bouncing all over the place. It can bounce off one of your return men that are trying to set up the block. I've already seen one muff punt return.
UTC's been here in 2009, came back in 2013, and each time Alabama returned a punt for a touchdown against them. One time it was Arenas, the other time it was Christian Jones. 2 seconds remaining before halftime. Our Week 11 Monday Night Football matchup at 8:15 Eastern on ESPN. It comes to you from Azteca Stadium in Mexico City. It's the Texans taking on the Raiders. Our coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown, served by Applebee's at 6 Eastern. Also streaming live on Watch ESPN. Well, the Tide are going to head to the locker room unless something dramatic happens here in the final 2 seconds with a slim 14-3 lead. And really one of those touchdowns was a gift. It was a muffed punt inside the 10-yard line. They only had 9 yards to go for the touchdown. And that run play will only get a yard. And that will do it for the first half. Sloppy play by Alabama has kept UTC in it. And the Mocs will have the ball when we start the second half. Now let's get it to the studio. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. On a cool night here at Bryant-Denny Stadium, I think folks around the country are a little bit surprised by this result after the first 30 minutes of football. 14-3, the #1 team in America over the UTC Mocs. Dave Neal back alongside former Georgia All-American Matt Stinchcomb. And Matt, I guess I know you and I are a little bit surprised, but what's the most surprising aspect of the first 30 minutes?
I would say the Alabama offense. I mean, obviously UTC moved the football in their first possession, but it's been sloppy. And you could tell early on in the game, first possession, a little bit of a broken play. It looked like Jalen Hurts wanted to deliver the football, took the tackle for loss, got sacked later on a delayed blitz, but was still able to find Calvin Ridley for a home run shot for the first score in this football game, and then a muffed punt. C.J. Ford incapable of fielding that punt, bumped into by his own man. Then Jalen Hurts showing patience on this touchdown throw to Garrett Dieter, but it has been a very disjointed offensive effort for Alabama. And you can see as the statistics kind of stack up out of that first half. UTC able to move the football and possess the football. You know, forced a couple of punts from the Alabama offense. The Mocs had to have been thrilled going into halftime, down 14-3. Probably a little bit disappointed given the special teams mishap.
UTC actually had the football for 6 more minutes than Alabama did in that first half, and they'll start the second half with the possession of the pigskin. Well, moments ago, Olivia Harlan had a chance to catch up with the UTC head man.
Thank you, Coach. A good opening drive on offense, and then your defense holding them to just 14. What was your message in there?
Well, I asked them to compete in the first half. I said compete, fight them every snap, and I told them they did that in the first half. And I just asked them, I said, do it for another 30 minutes. Just fight, just keep competing. Something positive will happen. We're getting first downs on offense, and we're playing really well on defense.
You played here last 3 years ago, shut out 49-0. What's so different about this year?
Well, I don't know. I think we got a good team. You know, they probably came in sleepwalking a little bit. I don't know, but our kids are playing hard and they're excited. I mean, coming out of that locker room, man, I couldn't keep them in there. They were so excited to come back out. Now, I hope we play good in the second half, but awful proud of our football team.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Seems a little excited, too. Probably couldn't keep him in there, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Surprised they even went into the locker room as well as the first half went. You could tell, though, that early on in this football game, UTC, they didn't feel like they were necessarily overmatched. They have to know and understand what the proposition was in front of them, and at the same time, after that first lick, it's just football, and they kind of were able to settle in.
Bagley, the running back, after Crane picks up 7.5, maybe 8 on that first rush of the second half. Benefield pass is caught. That'll be a first down over the 40. Forward progress to the 41. That'll be Malcolm Coven. Marlon Humphrey with the hit for Alabama, but moved the chains for the Mocs.
A little confusion that time in coverage. Sean Dion Hamilton just continuing towards the sideline that time. Ultimately came off man in coverage, and Malcolm Coven able to just settle right in there. Benefield's done a good job in this game, able to finding his receivers underneath. I haven't seen a lot of downfield shots, really just one in the first half from the Mocs.
13 of 16 for 100 yards. Here's a little Bagley. He got back to the line of scrimmage before he is pushed backwards. Davin Tomlinson and Ronnie Harrison. Bagley, not a big back by any stretch of the imagination.
Is able to get, at least use his speed, but look at the fast play from the linebacker position. Reuben Foster closing down, and then Dalvin Tomlinson. He's 305 pounds. We were talking with Ryan Anderson yesterday, and he feels like, you know, Tomlinson's this big body, great pass rusher. He's a 300-pounder that plays like a 270-pounder.
Bagley goes 180. Here he comes near side. And he is walloped at about the 47-yard line. A big hit from Ronnie Harrison, the sophomore out of Tallahassee. Bagley pops up, though. Whew.
Ronnie Harrison was a guy that offensive coordinator Jeff Durden was worried about, because he comes flying downhill when he makes his tackles. You hear the contact all the way up here in the booth. Ronnie Harrison, one of 7 different Alabama defenders with a touchdown. He has 2 on the season.
Harrison with 8 stops already tonight for Alabama. 3rd down and short. Benefield. Boy, nice little play design. Everybody kind of looked to the right. He throws back to the left, picks up 3, and that'll be a first down.
That time Ronnie Harrison got a little bit tripped up in his coverage. He came sniffing around the line of scrimmage. They're able to hit Crane out of the backfield. He gets a little nosy, number 15. Not scared to come up and run support. We already mentioned how he's around that football, takeaways, got speed that he can take it the opposite direction for a score. But a headhunter in that secondary for Alabama.
This drive's gone 5 plays, 30 yards. First down and 10. Delay handoff to Crane. Pick up a yard. You know, one of the things Coach Huseman said to us, his objectives, you've hit on it a couple times, they need to really shorten the game. They're going to huddle a lot today. They don't usually do that. They really need to avoid the negative play, and that includes not letting the Alabama defense score.
Yeah, I mean, how often do you talk to a coach and say, hey, one of our goals in this game is we want to keep their defense from scoring. But whoever you're playing, when you're facing Alabama, that's a legitimate concern. You can stop their offense, there's a very real chance that the defense could generate enough points.
Boy, just didn't get over the outstretched hands of Dalvin Tomlinson. Picks up 3 as it went to Derek Crane, but that was one of those moments where you, if you're UTC, you hold your breath for a moment. Tomlinson almost got up there and grabbed it.
Nice touch on this ball, just over the fingertips of number 54 Tomlinson. All 6'3" of them. Maybe if he was 270 pounds, he could jump a little bit higher and tip that one, but at 305, vertical wasn't quite enough.
Another 3rd down coming up for UTC. Will come near side, and that'll be incomplete. Alex Trotter checked into the game, the sophomore out of Chattanooga. Probably a good thing that one wasn't caught.
Yeah, that could have been, yeah, you make that catch, that ball's probably popping out shortly thereafter. Alabama all over that play. We've seen the Mocs, they had success earlier, hit Bagley on a similar play earlier in the first half. That time, the Crimson Tide well positioned to make the play.
Colin Brewer, the freshman out of Chattanooga. The Baylor school will punt it away. There's that end-over-end line drive kick that will roll out of bounds near the 11-yard line. A 33-yard punt. Jalen Hurts and this Alabama offense about to take the field for the first time in the second half.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Lexus. The Lexus December to Remember sales event is here, now through January 3rd. And Viagra.
Good look at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Building that was constructed way back in 1929. Originally had a capacity of 12,000. A little bigger than that now. 101,000.
Expanded a tad. Big corn curving back in at right guard for Alabama.
Here's Jalen Hurts on first down, and he will tuck it and run, and he'll pick up 3. But they were trying to go deep, but double coverage. Calvin Ridley, the lone deep threat, and UTC all over it.
Coach Saban lamented the fact that a little bit late with the football. Protection hasn't held up at times. This time, though, it's coverage. Mox played this one well. Have to put that ball right on the money. Drop it over the head of Trevor Wright.
Here's Hurts. He just got nowhere to run. He'll only get a yard.
Jalen Hurts has ended up with the football in his hands on a lot of these runs. And it's a read option. You've got an opportunity to hand the football off. We haven't seen it happen very often in this game at all. In fact, you look at Damian Harris with only those 5 rushes so far in this game, and Hurts carrying the load, but some of it is his decision making.
Jacobs has 1 carry, and that's it. He'll dump it off to Ridley, and he'll have the first down. He'll pick up 9.
Good job that time by Bradley Bozeman, able to get out front from his center position. Once again, trying to open up that running lane after the catch for Ridley.
Quick throw to the wide side. Cam Sims got a couple of blocks. Steps out of bounds at the 32. We'll pick up 8.5, maybe 9 when it's all said and done. But we really haven't seen our Darius Stewart today. Where's he been?
Such a big part of their offense, too. One of those guys that the second most targets in their passing attack. A big physical receiver for Alabama.
Again, Jalen Hurts. He'll lose 3. McMillan this time able to bring Hurts to the turf.
A couple different times now, both sacks, where Jalen Hurts coming off a play action and just doesn't like what he sees downfield, doesn't unload the football. And he ends up getting sacked. See Ridley working in the slot. Should have come back to Sims late, all the way near the boundary, but by then he was in the grasp.
Now Hurts will just try to run it, and on third down he'll get a yard. Well, Chattanooga has 3 sacks today, 5 tackles for loss. This time Taylor Reynolds making the play. And tell you what, this front line for UTC is no joke.
They're having a really good game up front. Taylor Reynolds being one of them. Called his name on a number of occasions already. The goal line, able to scrape all the way down the line, and that time able to corral Jalen Hurts.
J.K. Scott punts it away, and another tight spiral. That'll be fielded at the 18 by Board. 51-yard punt. So UTC will have the football when we come back. They trail by 11. Well, video boards become such a big part of the in-game experience, and here at Alabama, they do it probably as well as anybody, and it is a major production. And, well, we decided to find out how big it is. We've sent Olivia on a mission. She has actually found where this all takes place.
Dave, this whole production is so unprecedented. Maybe the coolest part, completely soundproof. 100,000 fans outside. We can't hear them. There are 19 people working in here, 12 of which are students.
And flight from 4 dissolve. Yep, dissolve. One back to game. Ready 1. Dissolve 1. Ready 2. Take 2.
Blue.
Fire prompt 18.
Go blue. Belk and
Ready
blue.
ready blue. Belk effective blue. Roll blue.
Sorry, I meant green is what I meant to say. But
Ready out to black zone 4. Effect out. Ready 3.
Second.
Ready 4. Take 4. Ready 1.
Can we switch
Take
up
one.
green to cart, please? Thanks.
As those guys call the video board, we'll call the play here, and Benefield will throw it out of bounds, and we'll bring up a third down.
One bell.
Let's hit it one more time to
Fire. Bring it
Lauren
in.
Ritter and Alex Seaver, the director.
Ready 2 with fawn 1. Take 2. Right? Ready 4 underneath. Take 4 underneath. Ready 2 underneath. Take 2 underneath.
9 yards to go.
Ready 3 underneath. Take 3 underneath.
Boy, what a job those guys do. 19 total employees, 12 students, doing a great job. And UTC will fall on that. That could have been disastrous. They still lose 11, though, and the Mocs will have to punt it away.
It looked like to me Benefield wasn't looking for the snap. He gave the signal for it, but it looked to me like he was looking at the defense. Jacob Revis sent that ball back to him. It wasn't like it was that poorly placed.
Now
Benefield
Benefield,
shaken up, yeah.
well, this is the biggest nightmare for Coach Huseman, was losing some of his main players before FCS playoffs start.
See the ball that shoots right through his hands. Tim Williams comes screaming upfield. Benefield, he was kicking his legs as he was laying on that football. You're right, Dave. It's not just a missed opportunity or field position. It's perhaps a significant injury to your signal call.
Boy, a short kick that will take a favorable, albeit short bounce for UTC. 28-yard punt, and Alabama will have outstanding field position, but the big concern for the Mocs right now is their quarterback. Let's take a look at this week's college football playoff rankings, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. And Alabama right now in a tight one here with UTC at 14-3. Ohio State, they had a scare today with Michigan State, but held on to win 17-16. Michigan beat Indiana 20-10. Clemson leading Wake Forest. Now, when you look at the back end here, these are all teams that certainly have some aspirations. Washington right now blanking Arizona State, and there's Wisconsin. Certainly it is out there for the Badgers.
Yeah, they got a shot at the Big Ten championship game. They make it there. Obviously, Penn State, their path is clear as well.
Alabama on the first handoff picks up 3 with Damian Harris. Boy, what a crazy week last week. 2, 3, and 4 go down, and everything you think is going to get all thrown up in the air, and it really doesn't.
It really was interesting. It was a 0.5% chance that would ever happen. And then it does, and you look at it and you're going, you know, Clemson and Michigan kind of jockey around your spots, but you're still among the top 4 teams.
To the near side, Cam Sims makes the catch and falls forward. We'll spot it at about the 34-yard line. bring up a 3rd down and about a yard to go. 4.5 to go here, 3rd quarter. We'll run it with Harris. He'll have the 1st down and drives to the 25-yard line. Tough run by Harris. Boy, what a young man. We had a chance to visit with him yesterday, and he is just a special, I'm not going to say player, he's just a special guy.
He's put together physically and mentally.
Here's the physical side of it. Turns the corner and touchdown, Alabama. 25 yards for Damian Harris.
Nice stiff arm on C.J. Fritz. Stays in all the way into the end zone. Didn't get the ball a lot. Ran the ball, had opportunities to give him the ball, leave it in his hands after the runs. A lot of times Jalen Hurts would end up with it. You can see Damian Harris, what a weapon he can be in this Crimson Tide rushing attack.
Point after, up and good. Longest run of the night from Alabama goes 25 yards. It is the sophomore out of Richmond, Kentucky. His 2nd rushing touchdown of the year gives the Tide the 21-3 lead.
They'll never admit it, but deep down, Michigan and Ohio State actually love each other.
That's love. That's love.
I think Woody and Bo would love to match up now, don't you?
Yeah. Did you picture them tugging on the old turkey wishbone?
Urban and Jim now.
Yeah. I think it's a similar dynamic. See those guys sitting down for any chicken wings anytime soon.
Kick into the end zone. That'll be a touchback. Good one next week. Michigan, Ohio State, noon on ABC. Here it's 21-3. Wolverines. They have struggled with Ohio State lately. They have lost 11 of the last 12, but Michigan leads the overall series 58-47. There have been 6 ties in that. Michigan won today, Ohio State won today, so it is a big one next Saturday.
Featuring a couple of Heisman Trophy candidates, albeit on the outside looking in probably with Lamar Jackson, but J.T. Barrett, he had to be the difference again today for Ohio State on offense. And obviously Jabril Peppers was a little bit of everything for Michigan.
Robertson in at quarterback, as we suspected he would be. Bagley picks up 10, and he is walloped, and he is slow to get up. Little guy's taking a few big shots here in the 2nd half. Tony Brown with his 6th tackle.
Surprised that this is the first time we've seen Robertson in this game. We thought that we would see him a little bit earlier. Obviously, with Benefield being injured, we hadn't seen a ton of it. You know, it's not a lot of that option element that we thought that UTC would try to get to. Obviously, he's in here now because of the injury to Benefield. A little bit of difficulty getting the play call in. As we mentioned, UTC not typically a huddle offense. They're going to have to burn a timeout.
And with that UTC timeout, will give us a chance to get back to the studio and get an update. Here's Chris Cotter.
Gentlemen, Oklahoma has to impress. They're on the outside looking in right now as far as the playoff committee is concerned, and they are doing just that right now in Morgantown. 28-0 after Joe Mixon's touchdown run over on ABC.
Ooh, that is...
I'll tell you what, that only helps Ohio State.
No doubt.
We're looking at it, obviously it's making their resume look better and better. The better Oklahoma looks. Obviously Louisville, a lot of people thought that perhaps the ACC could squeeze 2 teams into the playoff. It's not happening now. And Big Ten, they remain the best candidate of at least contributing more than one conference team, certainly a conference champion And Ohio State sitting on the outside of their division race with 1 loss.
On first down and 10, they'll give it off to Derek Crane. Let's get an update with Olivia.
Guys, I watched Alejandro Benefield on the table with trainers. They had him stick his arms out as they pushed down. They've now put an ice pack in between his shoulders. Even Terrell Owens came over to check on him, but anytime teammates check in on him, he's been shaking his head, looking discouraged.
You know, it's one of those things. I think he, as a competitor, wants to get back out there, but the flip side of it, if you're Coach Huseman, you're like, yeah, you're a bigger fish to fry for this team.
You gotta be smart. You gotta look down the line, of course. You want to get a victory here, sure, that'd be nice. You got a playoff contention to think about.
Here's Robertson trying to turn the corner, and he will be a couple of yards shy of the first down. And, you know, we talk about the college football playoff, but the FCS playoffs will start next week, and there will be the announcement tomorrow. And as far as the FCS playoffs go, 24 teams reach the postseason. The top 8 teams receive a first-round bye, and an at-large team. Certainly, you expect this UTC team to get in there. We thought there might be 4 teams from the Southern Conference get in, but a huge loss today by Samford, just down the road of Birmingham. They got beat by ETSU today, 15-14. Samford, coached by Chris Hatcher, they almost knocked off Mississippi State a couple weeks ago in Starkville. So maybe only 3 teams from the Southern Conference, and there is a big play, a tackle for a loss as Alex Trotter is thrown to a loss by Reuben Foster.
Reuben Foster. He's not going to be fooled by all this counter action. He sees it right away. This is one of the things that he just does so well, club on his hand or not. Does a great job of seeing what the offense is trying to do. Oftentimes, knowing what the offense is trying to do with this study. 75th tackle on the year for Reuben Foster.
Colin Brewer with the punt, another one of those end-over-end kicks that'll be down to the 25-yard line, a 39-yard kick. Reuben Foster, we've seen him make some big plays today. He just seems to have those elements. How does he do it?
He's a new age linebacker. And what part of it starts with film study and knowing what the offense is doing. See him signaling to his defense what play is coming. He knows exactly and cannot wait to come blow this up. He gets there before the offensive blocker does, and he's just so fast. And this is what makes him so good sideline to sideline. Can get the edge. Jonathan Allen stole this move, jumping over the protecting back, and he's physical. An inside linebacker has to have that physical presence, take on lead blocks, and still negate any running room. Reuben Foster, who we've seen leave the game earlier due to an injury to his hand. You see it all bandaged up. That's just his right hand. That's the good one. The left hand's got that club on it. He's still all over the football field, hitting that oxygen tank, because you know he's expended a ton of energy. Calls the defensive signals for Alabama, and you can tell that he was looking to mature as a player. Even talking to the coaches, Jeremy Pruitt, the defensive coordinator in his first year, is familiar with some of these players on the defensive roster. And he says that you can tell that Reuben Foster looking to take his play to the next level.
Having a tough time trying to get this started as Mark Curls and our crew.
The ruling on the field of the kick illegally touched is under further review.
So there was while we were looking at that Reuben Foster breakdown, they were saying the UTC might have touched the football where it is spotted right now at about the 34-yard line. It was downed around, what, the 25 there.
I don't know if it came off of Tay Davis's hand. His left hand, it's number 19. Yeah. Looks like it glances right off of his glove.
Boy, if our officiating crew spotted that, that is great vision.
You see the ball deviate just a little bit from what would otherwise probably be the natural trajectory as it was coming back down. I think that's what they caught. Watch number 19. See number 19 coming into your screen. The ball hits it right there. there. Good job. That's a nice look at it. Glancing off of his, it looks to me like his left hand. Skims right off the back of his hand.
So if anything, that this may actually spot it a little bit further up the field, I guess, by looking at it again.
Look at where he touched it. You know, it's interesting too, because these rugby style kicks are such low trajectory kicks. And a lot of times that ball is either squirting through a bunch of the coverage unit and or skimming right over their heads. It's kind of a knuckleball the way that they hit it. So because of it, you know, obviously, Jay Davis didn't even know that ball was in the area.
We just saw Nick Saban there, boy, you can tell he is frustrated.
After further review, the ruling on the field of the kick illegally touched is confirmed. The spot was the 39-yard line. First down, Alabama. This was a booth-initiated review. This was not a coach's challenge. Chattanooga is not charged with a timeout.
Thank you, Mark. But the frustration on Coach Saban. You heard it at halftime. Said he was embarrassed by the way they played. You don't want to ask him why they play these games or about these games, because he will snap at you. And this is exactly the reason why. As Jacobs getting a carry, Josh Jacobs. Montrell Pardue with his 4th tackle today. Jacobs, the true freshman. Boy, he is one of those guys. He is among the best in the country at making the first guy miss.
Something that Lane Kiffin pointed out. You know, one of those guys that's kind of slippery when he gets the ball in his hands, can be physical. You know, he's not a speedster. He's got that short area quickness where you don't have to block. He can make his own block and shake you loose.
Here's Hurts. He's got some room to run. Trying to set up his blockers. He kicks it into overdrive and is down to the 20-yard line, a gain of 34 yards, and Purdue with another tackle.
I had a little conversation with Josh Jacobs right here as he flushes out of the pocket. Once again, the Mocs able to collapse the Alabama protection scheme. Jacobs got out in front and turned into a lead blocker versus a receiver.
Jacobs gets past the first defender, and he'll pick up 5.
Look to tackle a Justin King. Both Crimson Tide running backs showing their ability to run after contact. Jacobs, relatively quiet night, kind of had a confusion on an exchange early on in the first half. Getting some touches here on this possession.
Hurts lofted up toward the end zone, just out of the reach of Cam Sims.
Had Garrick Dieter. That had been a good throw, though, right as he crossed face and came off of it, flushed out of the pocket, tried to get it to Sims there, who's playing a good bit tonight. Placement of Ardarius Stewart.
3 quarters are in the books. UTC trying to hang around. They trail 21-3 to top-ranked Alabama. You're watching the SEC on ESPN on a chilly night. On the capstone here in Tuscaloosa, the Crimson Tide holding off UTC 21-3. The Mocs 8-2 on the year, coming off a loss to Wofford last weekend. Playing some really sound football here against the #1 ranked team in America. Jalen Hurts over the middle, and that ball almost intercepted. He was a little bit late, something Coach Saban talked about at halftime.
You can see Lane Kiffin. He comes running upfield in frustration. See that football? It's got to come out, and it's just a poorly placed ball. Trevor Wright in coverage, he's beaten. You see him get hit right now, right as he's releasing that football, likely affecting the throw. An attempted throw to Cam Sims. Otherwise, it's 6 points. And the frustration spilling over to the Crimson Tide play caller as well.
33-yard field goal attempt on the way from Adam Griffith. 3 of 3 last week. Actually, Adam Papanatsos gets the kick. A redshirt junior sneaking in there on me. His first field goal. Redshirt junior out of Montgomery, Alabama. With only a few weeks left in the regular season, we'll have the exclusive reveal of the college football playoff top 25 rankings Tuesday at 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. Reese and the guys will break them down from top to bottom. As always, it's available streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Lane Kiffin frustrated. He knew he had 6 on that last.
Yeah, that's a touchdown. I mean, and we've seen a couple of throws tonight from Jalen Hurts where obviously he's been on the money downfield, hit Calvin Ridley in stride. It was a beautiful pass, but he's had a couple other misplaced balls, and you can tell that last week it was a really good performance. Coaches were pleased with how their quarterback performed in the passing game. It's a different story so far here tonight.
Well, that ball hit a mock player. 15, but UTC falls on it. So we'll see what Chattanooga wants to do here offensively. Alejandro Benefield left this one a little banged up and turned it over to Tyler Robertson, the junior out of Martinez, Georgia. There is Alejandro. He finished up the day 16 of 21 for 106 through the air.
They looked pretty good in this game, protecting the football that wasn't really in jeopardy versus a defense that can do that. Every time you put the ball in the air, it's a dangerous proposition. Benefield played well in the passing attack.
Robertson will pick up 5 yards on the carry. Kick off your Week 11 NFL Sunday with us on ESPN at 10 a.m. Eastern. NFL Insider Sunday edition will have all the early breaking stories and injury news. Then at 11, Sunday NFL Countdown will take you right up to kickoff. It's also streaming live on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN. So 2nd down and 5 coming up for the Mocs. Crane on that carry with 4.
We talked about it earlier. UTC, they're not going to abandon the run. We've seen some teams over the course of this season just say forget it. They're not even going to try it. Arkansas, they just got completely away from who they wanted to be on offense versus Alabama. Said, look, we'll take our chances. We'll try to pass the football. See some other teams where you end up almost losing, being taken out of your offensive game plan before you even take the field. Tonight, UTC and Derek Crane, even with Robertson in there quarterback, he's going to get his touches in the ground.
Boy, on 3rd and short, just nowhere to run. A loss of a yard. Tomlinson and Payne.
There's like 5 guys on that tackle. I mean, he got swallowed up in a big ball of Crimson. Well, that's the difficulty, of course. That obviously, you're sitting there, short yardage scenario. 7th tackle for loss on the night. Once again, Alabama just asserting itself. The defensive front. Look at the extension that Deron Payne at number 94 gets. Alvin Tomlinson, they just shed blocks so well up front. It's incredibly difficult to run the football inside.
Brewers end-over-end kick taken. Here's Diggs. Flags are down, and he dances his way to about the 43-yard line. We'll wait for this flag. 36-yard punt. Alabama's put up 253 yards today.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 48 return team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, timeout.
Take one look at the block in the back. That'll back them up 10, but Alabama will have the football when we come back, up 21.
Welcome back to Tuscaloosa. I'm joined by a very special guest, six-time Pro Bowler, Terrell Owens, who's also a former Chattanooga Mock. You spoke to the team this morning. What did he say?
Well, just told them to go out there and believe. Understanding that in Tuscaloosa, the field is 100 yards. In Chattanooga, it's 100 yards. They put their pants on just like we do. Number one thing I really had to get them out of the mindset of just not being overwhelmed with the atmosphere, but just going out here having fun and believing in themselves.
Okay, let's talk about you. Congratulations are in order. You were named one of 26 semifinalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Are you sure you're done playing, though?
Yeah. Until I get in, I don't think I'm done, but unfortunately I am done. Right now I'm just waiting to see what happens. This is the second year I'm up for it, so we'll see what happens.
But the phrase, "they call, I ball," what's that mean to you?
Well, you know, I haven't officially retired, so I've always been a social media guy. The fans want me. And other than that, you know, I'm not actively seeking to get back into the league, but I've always kept myself in shape, kept myself ready. But other than that, I'm on to bigger and better things with my life and moving on to another better chapter.
Thanks, T.O. You know, if a ball comes this way, guys, I think he said he's going to catch it, right?
I will.
Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Olivia. Great to see T.O. He didn't drop many.
I wonder if he'd ever be, well, as we see Cam Robinson helped off the field. Tell you what, now you're looking at Alabama. Obviously, Reuben Foster banged up. Jonathan Allen got up a little bit gimpy, and now your left tackle, who is holding his left arm kind of lamely.
And that is certainly an area that they do not have much depth at all, is on that offensive line. Here's Harris. And he is to the 43-yard line, gain of 9.
You see Robinson, he's working a double team, and then looks like it's his left knee maybe, the way he kind of pivoted out of that block. You see Bama so nervous that they ran left immediately right behind his backup, Corin Curvin. Left again.
Harris getting some work now, chewing up some yards off that left side. Harris, 11 rushes, 88 yards, had that 25-yard touchdown run.
Big Corin Curvin started the game at right guard, get more time there. A true freshman at right tackle now, and a converted D lineman guard playing your left tackle spot.
Play fake. Hurts. He'll just throw it away and avoids a sack. Another pressure from Leslie up the middle.
I've seen Leslie a couple of times able to get upfield. Twice now he's been able to pressure the passer of the Crimson Tide. It's been, as we've mentioned, really impressive effort by UTC. They don't blitz. And when they do, typically we've seen a couple of green dog pressures where the linebacker has somebody in protection and end up blitzing anyway.
Tonight, after a full day of college football, catch SportsCenter at night with Butchie and Anderson. They'll have all the gridiron highlights as well as the NBA, NHL, college basketball, NFL news, and everything else from an action-packed Saturday. SportsCenter at night after USC and UCLA on ESPN, also streaming live on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN. Closing in on 10 minutes to go in this one. Alabama draining the play clock down inside of 10 seconds. Loose football. Dale Warren, I think, came up with the football. And it looks like another Alabama player is injured in the process as well.
Yeah, that's
is that Corin Curvin?
It is.
Oh my goodness.
In there for Cam Robinson. You can see at the end of that play, the way Jacobs was carrying the football when he was kind of rolled up on top of like Nakavian Leslie. You see Corin Curvin get up. But watch Jacobs. Leslie comes in. You'll see him end up on top of him. And watch Skeontae Davis. Again. He almost had a recovery in the first half. And Curvin jumps in there right at the tail end. We saw O.J. Howard in the first half able to wrestle a recovery away from the UTC defense and get it back for Alabama. And Curvin got in there late. See, it looks like he hurt his left shoulder. You see him reaching over there, grabbing at it.
All right, now Cam Robinson heading back to the Alabama locker room area. Robertson will throw it out to the wide side. DeJuan McCorders will make the catch and pick up 6.
This is concerning if you're Alabama. You talk about, Olivia hit on it earlier, the areas they can't afford to have injuries. An offensive line, and especially offensive tackle, is one of them. They are somewhat average. The middle portion of their offensive front, guard to guard, they've had their issues. Right guard has been a revolving door of players. Cam Robinson, probably their most talented offensive lineman, hadn't been very consistent this year. For him to leave the field and then his backup to be injured, that's almost a 3-alarm fire there.
Derek Crane, the intended target over his head as Alabama gets set next week to take on Auburn in the Iron Bowl.
I mentioned earlier, the implications down the line for UTC and staying healthy. You've got to start showing some concern for the FBS team involved in this contest. #1 team in the country.
Well, if you're Alabama and you want to play it and win it all, you of course got Auburn next week. Then you've got the SEC championship game against Florida. Then you've got the semifinal game, and then of course the national championship game if you're able to make it that far. So you're looking at 4 more games.
Right.
Only a gain of a yard. By the way, Nick Saban now entering this one as the #1 ranked team in the country, coaching in his 46th game. He is 40-5 as the #1 team in America. That is the same number as Woody Hayes and Bobby Bowden for the most wins as the #1 team in the country as the head coach. And a win here tonight puts him right over the top to become and have the most wins ever as an AP #1 ranked team. And when you consider that he has done it about half the time of Coach Hayes and Coach Bowden, it is quite an amazing run. His numbers as a head coach are staggering.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Mazda. Driving matters. And Allstate, proud supporters of college football. It's good to be in good hands.
Some images from tonight. UTC out of the FCS in Alabama. Actually, these two teams have played quite a bit. 13th meeting between Alabama and Tennessee Chattanooga. First meeting came back in 1908. Last time they played was 2013. Alabama won 49-0. A couple of guys have actually played in that game for UTC. A little different story here tonight. Alabama up 24-3, and they've had a tough time. They've only racked up 290 yards of total offense against this very stout Chattanooga defense. A loss of 6. Isaiah Mack making the play this time.
It's the negative yardage plays I think are as surprising as anything in this game. You've got 7 of them now, tackles for loss. Basically, it's the same output as one of the best defenses in the country in Alabama, what they've been able to put together here tonight. UTC has gotten after the Crimson Tide up front.
Here's Harris trying to pick up that lost yardage and then some. He'll get it out to the 29. Time for an update. Let's head to the studio. Chris, what do you have?
Let's update you on what's happening with Washington. Trying to get back into the win column here. Jake Browning, who has thrown a couple of picks in this game, finding Dante Pettis wide open behind the defense. That made it 17-0. It's now 27-0. UW on top in the third. Meanwhile, coming up next, Colorado State, they're trying to become bowl eligible tonight. Tough one against New Mexico. It's coming up next.
All right, thank you, Chris. Oh, free play here for Alabama. Hurts. Just throw it incomplete. DJ Prather getting a head start.
Offside, number 7 defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, third down.
Well, let's get an injury update. Go down to Olivia.
Dave, Cam Robinson and Corin Curvin from Alabama's offensive line did both go into the locker room. Corin was seen in a tent first, whereas Cam just went into the locker room. An athletic trainer told me he doesn't believe it's too serious. They're just being cautious at this point. But remember that Corin Curvin's the 3rd starter at right guard this season. That's been a rotating position, something to watch in this last quarter.
Thanks, Olivia. And the other guy that we haven't seen offensively has been Ardarius Stewart tonight. And you understand he's kind of a healthy scratch. They just haven't played him, but he has suited up on the sidelines. Saw him moving around quite well, dancing some music during the timeouts a little bit, moving around.
He and Coach Saban kind of walked down the tunnel. We showed those opening shots, and that was the extent of his participation in this game. Talk about the attrition, though, as you see Ardarius Stewart there on the sideline, a big weapon for what Alabama uses on their offense. Some of those fly sweep, jet sweep motions, how they get the ball out onto the perimeter and pull defense's eyes towards the sideline. And then next thing you know, you get a Damian Harris running at you right downhill. Big element of what they've evolved into offensively.
And I want to look at this spot, perhaps.
Alabama has called timeout to challenge the spot short of the line to gain.
And I thought Coach Saban was eyeing where that ball was.
Yeah. Kind of come down there, and you could see him standing right down the line of.
We're now being paid on the replay booth. This is a booth-initiated review.
You see Ridley try to get upfield. Blocked by that SEC logo there, but ball's in his right arm. To see there whether or not he has advanced the football far enough downfield before he would establish himself as down. Anything other than his hand, and he's down, elbow down. While they look at this, incidentally, we've got Brandon Green, tight end by trade, a big body. He's wearing number 58. He's now the left tackle, was the left tackle on that series for the Crimson Tide. The 3rd left tackle in this game. We've seen Josh Casher, number 67 at right guard. Corin Curvin, big Brandon Green, wearing number 58 in this one, and has been forced into service at the left tackle spot.
With only a few weeks left in the regular season, we'll have the exclusive reveal of the college football playoff top 25 rankings Tuesday at 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. Reese and the guys will break them down from top to bottom. As always, it's available streaming live on the ESPN app and
after
watch
further review,
ESPN.
The ruling on the field stands. 4th down.
But not charge a timeout, not that it really matters.
There was no charge timeout. Down.
So 4th and inches. And here comes J.K. Scott, who, by the way, is not a finalist for the Ray Guy Award. I'm still scratching my head on that. He's second in the FBS in average, first in the conference.
It's inexplicable. I don't understand that one.
Averaging almost 49 yards a punt, and he just, I mean, he knocks the air out of the ball every time he punts it. TJ Board. That one's 54 yards. Folks, 24 of his 40 punts have been over 50 yards. Go figure. Well, last year in the Georgia Dome, Alabama and Florida met for the championship game. It all got started with a safety as Keith Holcomb's punt was blocked in the end zone. Then Florida would take the lead on an 85-yard punt return by Antonio Callaway. That would get the Dome a-buzzing, but then Derrick Henry would score from 2 yards out and give Bama a 12-7 lead going into the half. Jake Coker would connect with Ardarius Stewart for a 32-yard touchdown pass late in the third quarter. Alabama, though, would hold on and win 29-15, and they would capture the SEC championship game. And guess what? That will be the rematch here in 2016 after what happened today in Baton Rouge. And kudos to the Gators. What a performance. You go into Baton Rouge, you're a 14-point underdog, you're missing a bunch of starters, not many people giving you a chance, you've been called out, and you go in there and you just basically say, not today.
Answered the bell, didn't they? I mean, and it started out early, pregame, a little scuffle, and it spurned somehow Leonard Fournette to overcome a mystery injury. He'd been tweaked out with that ankle, wasn't going to play, and then he did. It didn't matter because the Florida Gators showed up big time and controlled that line of scrimmage when they needed to.
And a loose football. It's on the ground, and Alabama says they have it. A huge hit causes the fumble from Anthony Jennings, the redshirt freshman out of Dadeville, Alabama. And Rashaan Evans comes up with the loose football.
Well, this was one of those hits that we were a little bit concerned about coming into this game. Read option. Robertson was going to get hit by Anthony Jennings anyway, but it looked like it was just a bad exchange. He and Alex Trotter, I think he ended up hanging this football. See that? Ended up, I think it bumped off of the back of Alex Trotter. Ball came out before Jennings got there.
So with 4:48 to play, Alabama has it at the 20-yard line. They'll work out of the pistol formation. Quick throw. They'll get it to Sims. Boy, he is swarmed. Boy, I tell you what, UTC is not laying down in this one. And a player is slow to get up. Keontae Davis standing over Lucas Webb, and that is a tough one. Lucas Webb, you hate to see that. His story, folks, he's coming back home. He is from Northport, Alabama. That is just outside of Tuscaloosa. His dad played here at Alabama, Stephen, back in the late 80s, early 90s. Is a linebacker here for the Crimson Tide. Actually played high school ball with Bo Scarborough and Dylan Lee at Tuscaloosa County High School. I hope he's all right. And I mean, certainly hope that everybody's all right that gets a little nicked up. But he was so excited to come here. He said he couldn't sleep this week.
Watch Webb. You see him, he's got his head down. You see him duck his head right there towards the end. It's great to see him get up off the turf here and walk off under his own power. See, leading with the crown of your helmet. That's part of the reason why, you know, the targeting rule is what it is. You want to defend the defender, the tackler as well. A little bit shaken up there, but you want to see what you hit. Tackle with your face mask.
Hurts throwing toward the end zone. Incomplete. Looking for Miller Forrestall, and he couldn't hang on to it.
Hurts hang this football up, giving Forrestall a chance to high point it. Does not complete the catch. Great job by Cedric Nettles, getting his hands in there, creating this incompletion, breaking up the pass. Forrestall clearly not making it to the ground with the ball in his possession.
Quick hitter near side. Cam Sims tripped up down around the 1. He'll pick up enough yardage to make it 1st and goal, 13 yards on that game.
Nice block by Garrick Dieter. Interesting that now we're seeing our 4th left tackle, Jonah Williams, true freshman right tackle, over at left tackle for this possession.
Hurts to the end zone, wide open. Touchdown Alabama, Garrick Dieter. His 2nd touchdown reception. Alabama trying to make it a 31-3 game here. It was the fumble that set this all up. Took them 4 plays to go 20 yards. But the defense does it again. Boy, they have helped the offense out quite a bit this year. College football playoff is just around the corner. Who is in? Alabama hopes that they will remain in. A couple of tough battles ahead. Of course, next week is Auburn, and then the SEC championship game against Florida. And then they will decide their fate for the playoff. Let's head back to the studio and get an update with Chris.
Gentlemen, Penn State has to keep winning and hope that Ohio State knocks off Michigan next week in the shoe. Penn State's doing their job already. Saquon Barkley reached for the end zone, got there. They reviewed it. It stands 16-0. Nittany Lions on top.
Thank you, Chris. Here, this UTC team is waiting for their playoff, I guess, road to the championship tomorrow, 11 a.m. The FCS field will be announced, and certainly expectations are that the Mocs will be in the field. 3 teams from the Southern Conference expected to go, including Citadel, the Southern Conference champs, along with Wofford. And I'll tell you what, Coach Huseman is just a remarkable job he's done. You think about it, he played his high school ball at Cincinnati Moeller, which is legendary for their success. And Jerry Faust was his high school coach before he went to Notre Dame. They went 43-0-1 when he was in high school under Coach Faust, which is certainly a dynasty in itself. They won a couple of mythical national championships. He played at UTC, and interesting that his coaches were the late Joe Morrison, who went on to coach at South Carolina. And when he graduated from UTC, his first job as a coach was a grad assistant at South Carolina. He also at UTC was coached by brother Bill Oliver, who, of course, played here at Alabama under Bear Bryant, was a defensive coordinator here for the Crimson Tide, also defensive coordinator at Auburn, and was an interim head coach at Auburn as well. So some tie-ins to not just to South Carolina, to the Southeastern Conference, but to Alabama as well. But when you think about the guys that he played under, remarkable head coaches, guys that were certainly into the finer points and the details. And you can see it in how his team plays. And we talked to him, he talked about what he respects about Coach Saban, the little things that make him championship teams. What do you say? That the locker room, there better not be a piece of tape or a wrapper on the floor. And he felt like a couple weeks ago, he saw a couple things on the floor. He felt like his team was getting off the tracks a little bit. Yeah.
It's all about those tape balls, man. That's the first indicator. You're losing some focus. It really is, though, the little things. Those details pile up. The team was lacking focus.
Handoff goes to Knowles. Let's go down to Olivia.
Well, guys, Coach Huseman has so much respect for Nick Saban. He told us, I read everything he writes. I watch every video of him, clinic tapes. He calls him the best coach in the country because of his attention to detail. He said they don't allow complacency, just like you were talking about him trying to implement in his own program. I watched the two coaches shake hands before the game. A lot of respect between them, too.
And they're both having pretty good runs of it right now. Enrique Ribeiro will punt this one away. Trayvon Diggs to return it. This one will take a favorable UTC roll down to the 22-yard line. Celebrating its 12th year sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kick. Since 2005, Allstate has donated millions in scholarship funds. 1:50 to play, and Alabama would just as soon put this one in the books and get set for Auburn, because this one probably is not going to sit well with their head coach. They have had quite a few sloppy moments today, and you could tell at halftime that Coach Saban not pleased at all.
No, he was looking for them to come out, compete well, and it looked like that was going to very much be the case. First two offensive plays, pretty explosive to say the least. Jalen Hurts having to carry the load quite a bit, was late on some throws, off target on some throws. But the injuries, I think, are the biggest and probably most concerning aspect of this football game.
Here's Derek Gore. He cuts it back and bounces off one defender, and he'll pick up 6 yards. Now, let me ask you this as a player. Obviously, this isn't an SEC game, and it's an FCS opponent from Alabama's perspective. So
right.
As a player, you're probably not as focused and locked in this week as you normally would be. So from a coach's standpoint, do you put this game away? Do you harp on this game? What's your message after this one?
It depends on the personality of the team. I don't think that the coaches are going to have to say a whole lot, frankly, because I think that the players recognize where the deficiencies were perhaps in this game. And, the defense didn't look bad. Obviously, they had a nice opening offensive possession. But there's a lot of guys that were being played in this football game. Ardarius Stewart was healthy. We never saw him. Bo Scarborough was available. We never saw him. So you don't want to say that Alabama was half-cocked in this game, but I think that they also came into it thinking it's not like we have to unload the playbook here. So, it wasn't an overwhelming performance, to say the least, or what it could have been. And at the same time, this is a game that you want to get out of. You get a victory, and they have, and a decisive one. But an injury to Cam Robinson, that's a concern. Reuben Foster injuring that hand that's been plaguing him a little bit this season, that's not helpful either.
Gore again. But this, if team will be, if they're not, there's something wrong with them, and I assume that there's not going to be much of an issue. Next week, it's Auburn. It's the Iron Bowl. They will be locked in. Coach is always locked in. That'll be the final play of the game, and Alabama will stretch their wins against unranked teams to 65. Nick Saban and Russ Huseman shaking hands, and this one's over. UTC held their own. They lose at 31-3. Coming up next, college football scoreboard. So for my partner, Matt Stinchcomb and Olivia Harlan, I'm Dave Neal. So long from Tuscaloosa. Let's head back to the studio.